doing?
What am I doing?
I drink alone. Yeah, with nobody else.
I'm drunk off of fine wine. I'm angry at stupid people. And I hate it when games don't get the recognition that they deserve. Today, I'm talking about Final Fantasy X-2.
Final Fantasy X-2 was released in 2003 as a sequel to Final Fantasy X due to the fan reaction to the Eternal Calm video included in the Japanese international version. I'll admit, when I first saw the commercials for this game, here was my reaction.
They say good things come in threes.
Threes? This isn't Final Fantasy 3. Wait a minute. I recognize her. Isn't that Miss I Have Become a Summoner? Why the hell is she singing? Where is her monk robes? And now she's got guns? They took away her robe for gun. X-2? Was that game really so popular that it deserved a sequel? What the fuck?
I swear this was a bad fan service cash-in game. And it doesn't help that I got a whip of Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball that was released earlier that year.
Since then, I have matured enough to give Final Fantasy X-2 a chance. And considering that I don't like the constant maintenance of equipment, unique abilities, and experience levels of these several characters who must be regularly cycled into your party to prepare them for the final boss, that is in every Final fucking Fantasy game, that's saying a lot.
But after watching some intriguing gameplay footage on the Spoonie experiment, I decided to give this game a try. Now, despite what he and other people might say, this is not a bad game. It's not perfect, but it's not bad.
In order to start, let's talk about what's bad about Final Fantasy X-2. First off, it is a sequel to Final Fantasy X. Now, I cannot comment on X-2 continuity with X's story, but I can say that it pulls a Chrono Cross on the gameplay, where everything is different from its predecessor. But where Chrono Cross blatantly ignored the fans of the original, X-2 was developed with a more upbeat feel in mind. Hence the reason we open with our favorite timid summoner ditching her robes to sing a pop concert. Second, many of the monsters are recycled from 10, with very little in terms of originality, except maybe for the occasional palette swap, so that doesn't settle well with me. Third, the battle music, while catchy at times, is out of place. It's short, loops too quickly, and does not make me feel like fighting. But I do think that YRP Fight Number 3 would be a great mix with fighting from Final Fantasy VII. New mixers, take notice. Fourth, there are several pieces of the plot that I don't like. I hate how Yuna started this journey to search for Titus. If I hadn't watched the Spoonie experiment and found out how much of a stupid, idiotic, whiny bitch that he is that is constantly trying to control the plot, I would have hated him solely because he looks like Sora, that friendship-preaching goody-two-shoes excuse of a main character of the Kingdom Hearts series.
Fuck Titus, fuck Sora, and fuck anyone that looks like him! They grew you, Chris Thorndyke, you son of X-ray little prick!
But it's not just because Yuna is searching for someone that I don't like. It's also because she's trying to bring him back from the dead. I hate this plot point. If someone has died, people need to learn to cope with it and let them stay dead. That includes you, Eris.
How could you say something so cruel?
You could always give her a Phoenix down! Oh wait, that only works on unconscious people! I'm gonna get some hate mail for this, aren't I?
However, despite my hopes that this attempt ultimately fails and that Titus actually stays dead, spoiler alert, he comes back to life, but only if you get the good ending. And finally, movement on the overworld is locked in 8 directions with 2 speeds: walking and slow running. And bad camera angles that you cannot control does not help the situation at all.
But can you really say that a game is bad because these aspects are bad? What about gameplay? The most important part of a game!
I'm the kind of gamer that can forgive bad aspects as long as the gameplay is good. A good example is Zero Wing for the Sega Genesis, a space shoot-'em-up that has been regarded by many as one of the worst games of all time, only second to the Mario and Zelda CDI games, all because of one thing: a really bad translation. Another example was a game called Counter Force, a Wii port of a rail shooter arcade game called X-2 that has below par graphics, a manual load and save system, and non-existent rewards where you pilot a giant robot not by pushing on the control stick, but by tilting the nunchuck.
Oh my god, I feel like I'm actually piloting a giant robot!
Chicks dig giant robots.
But when bad aspects interfere with gameplay and you can't ignore them, such as the music in Terminator for the NES, the overabundance of story in Metal Gear Solid, or the game-breaking save corruption glitch of Soul Calibur 3, the game stops being enjoyable. You'd have to force yourself to play the game, and no one likes being forced to do things that they don't like.
And with Final Fantasy X-2, the bad just aren't bad enough, and this game has too many good things going for it.
First and foremost, despite having the primary plot surrounding Tidus, I love the other plots, including the civil conflict between New Yevon and the Youth League, the sacred temples being treated with sacrilege as tourist attractions, and the appearance of the almighty Vegna gun machine and its manipulation by Shuyin, as well as many of the other plots. The stories try to stay upbeat and is rarely bogged down for too long with a lot of unnecessary angst.
I love them because they made you forget about the main plot surrounding Tidus. And no, I won't get over the fact that you're trying to bring back a dead guy!
Also, I want to mention that I love the Sphere Break minigame.
Are you being serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Come on, you're kidding.
I'm serious!
Many people want to say that minigames like this suck. I played Triple Triad in Final Fantasy VIII, and though it was okay, it is plagued with the same problem of over-complexity as Final Fantasy VIII itself. Sphere Break, on the other hand, is simple and quick. If you know how to add and multiply whole numbers, which any 7-year-old should know how to do, then you can play this game. It really is a fun break from the usual routine. Now, Blitzball, on the other hand, that's a different story.
Now, if there was only a Sphere Break clone for the iPhone, like there is for Triple Triad.
Some other aspects that I really like are ones that I don't normally encounter in Final Fantasy. Your entire team consists of 3 members who all appear in your party almost immediately. This is refreshing considering my feelings about Final Fantasy. Also, the job system returns in the form of magical girl transformation dress spheres.
Seriously, that's what they were going for. Magical girl transformations. And I'll admit it, I'm a sucker for transforming superheroes.
But instead of having to reorganize your equipment each time you change your job, you only have to manage 4 things. The garment grid that can hold multiple dress spheres, one of the dress spheres set in said garment grid, and up to 2 accessories for additional special effects or power bonuses. The only other micromanagement is selecting which dress sphere ability you want to learn next, and you can learn these abilities by gaining points that you earn by defeating monsters and by using your other abilities in battle. In fact, you can learn a new ability in the middle of a battle and then use it right away.
This job system just proves that you need to find a balance between simplicity and complexity. You can't make it too simple that it becomes pointless, but you can't make it too complex that it becomes difficult to use.
The exploration aspect is something else that makes this game enjoyable. Where normal RPGs have a constant linearity of going from point A to point B because the plot deems it necessary, this game becomes an open sandbox where you can immediately go anywhere. And whenever you go anywhere, there is always something to do. Even though over half of the game is side quest, skipping them results in missing out on the fun parts of this game, and in not gaining the experience needed to deal with the powerful enemies lingering at the hotspots that you must complete in order to advance the story.
These side quests remind me of the plot important side quest of Chrono Trigger, mixed with the future affecting side quest of Majora's Mask. I wonder. Holy crap!
But where this game shines the most is the battle system. Where Final Fantasy X tried something new, the conditional turn-based battle system, X-2 went back to the active time battle system. But where other ATBs place selected actions in an overall queue, where they are executed in a first-in, first-out order, X-2's battle system is much more proactive. Actions here are executed in a more immediate fashion, though some actions have a charge-up time before they are executed, and some actions have a cooldown time before that character can move again. But when you start killing enemies while they are charging up a spell, or while they are racing towards one of your team members, you realize why this system is so awesome. And remember how I mentioned that the Garment Grid can hold multiple dress spheres? The reason for this is because you can change jobs in the middle of battle. So if you enter battle with the wrong job, you can simply switch over to another one. And if all of those don't work, then you can unleash the ultimate power of your special dress sphere!
Now, tell me if these turn you on.
Yuna as a nearly nude flower goddess, Pain crucified like a bondage victim inside of a walking winged cage, and Riku driving a giant robot while cosplaying as Zero Suit Samus. This is a battle system that I would love to see repeated, especially in a modern remake of some of the older Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy VII.
That's the second time I've mixed 7 and 10 too. I wonder. The fuck? How?
Final Fantasy X-2 does not deserve the hate that it gets. In truth, it's a very good game that is a pleasant addition for any Final Fantasy fan, or for anyone who enjoys RPGs on the PlayStation 2.
I'll even go as far as to say that this is one of my all-time favorite games, along with Chrono Trigger on the SNES, and The World Ends With You on the Nintendo DS. Ironically enough, also made by Square Enix. That's just a coincidence, I swear!
Final Fantasy X-2 received an extended version called Final Fantasy X-2 International Plus Last Mission. It includes some tweaks, 2 new dress spheres, the Festival Goer, and the one that I really want to try out, the Psychic, and it has a final dungeon called Last Mission. I really would like to see the extended version get a North American release, but just with the Kingdom Hearts games, we'll never get that final mix.
I'm Jimmy Daniels, reminding you to always form your own opinions, and remember, drink responsibly.
That still doesn't explain what you were doing dancing to that song. What's the matter? Did someone lose his man cards in a game of Triple Triad?
Oh, look who's talking, Mr. I Cry for Eris.
Why did you have to bring that up again? Oh.
You fucking pussy!
I drink alone. Yeah, with nobody else. Yeah, you know when I drink alone, I prefer to be by myself.